Thanks, guys. Excited to be here today. So today I'm going to be talking about a land and expand philosophy that we've embraced at Bitly. And I know this is sort of something that a lot of people will talk about, of sort of who owns upsell and cross-sell relationships in organizations. And I know as companies get larger, that can sometimes become a bone of contention between sales and success teams. So we're going to talk about a little bit about how we did it at Bitly today. So real quick, a little bit of background about me. So I'm the Director of Customer Success at Bitly. We are based in New York and have been at Bitly for about 2.5 years, which makes me like the 5th oldest employee at Bitly at the moment. So I feel like I've been around the block a few times. Yeah, let's see. So my team, we've got 7 people on the team right now. We're hiring aggressively. And then just a little bit about Bitly. So Bitly, you guys all probably know Bitly in some capacity. If not, go on Twitter, and the first thing you'll pop up will be a Bitly link, I'm sure. But we were established in 2008 to solve like a very real problem on the web, which was that links were too long to put in Twitter when Twitter started, right? So pretty basic. From there, we've expanded. We have about 60 employees. We have 3 offices, New York, Denver, and San Francisco. We have about 1,200 enterprise clients. So the first question I always get when I say that I'm the Director of Customer Success at Bitly is, how does Bitly make money, and what does it mean that you manage accounts at Bitly? A lot of people don't realize that we have an enterprise product, but we have about 1,200 enterprise customers. We have about 9 million free users. And both of those roll up into the customer success team, which presents a unique challenge in and of itself. And kind of the size and scale of Bitly is also interesting. So we shorten about 600 million links a month, see about 8 to 9 billion clicks, and have about 2 billion uniques that go through our system every month. So just a little bit of background to sort of understand the size and scale. So now I'm basically just going to take you guys through the story of like what we did at Bitly. Not saying it's like the right model or the wrong model. It's definitely a different model than most people, and it can be a little bit controversial at times when I talk about this. So to take a step back, it was the beginning of 2013, and we were in stage for 2014 planning. Now, I'm sure none of you have ever seen a chart like this, especially since it's been in every presentation that I've gone to today. But basically what happened was this is what our sales growth numbers looked like for 2014. And the conversation started, like, how are we going to get there? So what we decided was that our client base was actually our biggest opportunity as well as our biggest challenge. So like many of you, I'm sure, what happens with Bitly is we go and we sell into one small piece of an organization. So you take a company like Pepsi, and we're working with Pepsi, but we're not working with Gatorade, and we're not working with Mountain Dew. Or you take Amazon, and we might be working with Amazon proper, but we're not working with Audible and ShopBop and all of the different subsidiaries or different business units within a company. So what we decided at the beginning of 2014 was that we were going to try something. We were going to rewrite the rules between sales and customer success. And this is where this gets a little bit controversial, and I'm sure everyone in this room will have their own opinions on it. But basically what we decided to do was that customer success was going to own all upsells. And how we defined an upsell actually was anytime sales closed an account under a parent company, customer success would own that entire parent company relationship. So if we closed Pepsi, it was now customer success job to go sell Bitly to Gatorade and Mountain Dew. And the same thing. And when you talk about some of the biggest parent companies in the world, you take NBC Universal and things like that, those can be like massive opportunities that customer success was now owning that relationship instead of sales. So this basically to talk a little bit about the strategy when we put this in the place at BIN in 2014 and taking this opportunity away from sales and putting it in customer success. We took the sales reps we already had, and we decided we were going to give them sales training. So we put them through sort of very quick sales 101 training. And then when we hired all new hires that coming in, we're going to have some sort of sales experience or upselling experience. Then we tiered our counts based on growth potential. So we might look at a high growth startup as just as valuable as a GE, for example. We set very aggressive meeting quotas. So what we found out very quickly was, and this is going to come to no shock to anybody in this room, but the more meetings you have, especially in-person meetings, the higher the upsell value, the way more likely that you were going to sell into that organization. And we rebuilt the comp plan. So of course, if you're going to have customer success managers managing upsells, you have to comp them a little bit more like salespeople. So what we did was we took everyone's bonus structure, and instead of making that based on, we kept a piece that was going to be based on renewals and churn and business objectives. So they had that piece, and then they also had a commission piece. So they could essentially earn as much money as they possibly could with that upsell quota goal. This was a quote actually from one of my reps About 3 months in, she came back and said, I guess you were right about the email and call volume relating directly to upsells. Who knew? So basically what we did was when putting in these meeting quotas, we said, like, the more you talk to your customers, the more you are going to sell. I promise you. The better relationship you have, the more money that's going to come in. They're going to want, people want to spend money with people they like, with people they talk to all the time, not just people who, are helping them in a crisis. So I'm going to go ahead and jump the gun here, and I'll go a little bit to our results, and then I'm going to go back to why we think it worked. So within 1 year of moving all of the upsell and focusing on upsell within our group, we decreased churn by 25%. Upsell increased by 267%. And one of the things people always ask me with this is, did you guys have more resources? And the answer is actually probably not, because we have a lot more salespeople than we have customer success reps. So we actually probably decreased the amount of people who were working on these deals, and upsell went up by 267%. And the success team was now responsible for 33% of all new MRR in our company. So this first part of this graph is what our team's revenue was for 2013. So upsell pretty much equaled churn. And in 2014, upsell became 3x churn. So we decreased churn, increased upsell in 1 year of basically just shifting ownership and letting our customer success team go out and work on expanding these deals. We became a significant revenue driver for the company. So why do I think this worked? So the first reason is I think that our customer success teams have increased knowledge of deals and organizations. So when they go in and they're pitching, the Gatorade, for example, they're able to use all of the success that they've seen with Pepsi to convince Gatorade that it's worth buying. Plus, they can now use the fact that we've gone through legal, we have an MSA in place, we have preferential pricing. They can use all of those things to get the sale done so much faster and so much more efficiently. Plus, they're literally showing live, real-time results of what another brand within the company did. We decreased time and frustration. So I'm sure everyone in this room probably has horror stories. I know we do, of when sales teams go after a brand and there's something in writing somewhere that there was preferential pricing for that brand, and they go in and they lose a deal because they went with the rate card pricing, things like that. And every handoff, and in Bitly, we actually look at things monthly as well as quarterly and yearly. So for us, the fact that someone would come in and say, hey, I'm really interested in finding out about getting an account for my sister company. We say, yeah, hold on 1 second, let me pass you to a sales rep. Then the sales rep gets on the phone and says, hey, give me all your background, which, oh, by the way, they've just given to the customer success manager. And then as soon as the sale's done, they're like, oh, by the way, here, go back to your customer success manager. That's a really frustrating experience for the client. And you're talking about tacking on days on each side of that transaction. And when you're talking about things in months and quarters, those days really matter. We increased activity tenfold. So giving people really aggressive meeting quotas, as well as actually email quotas or email goals, we increased the activity and the number of meetings that our customer success managers were having. And really that was because, again, when you're trying to find out, hey, what is my room for expansion? You have to meet with those clients to really understand what is the room for expansion in those accounts. And dollars. I mean, at the end of the day, we revamped the comp plan so our customer success managers could make a bunch more money, and everyone was very excited about that. And we had extremely strong rules of engagement. So this is really the biggest one, I would say, because we did not want there to be a contentious relationship between success and sales. And there's obviously going to be if there is not a black and white rule in the sand. So we really drew a line and we said, guys, we're trying this out. We're trying it for a year. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, then we'll revamp it and we'll try something else. But as you can see from our results, it definitely did work. And just sort of high level, why this matters to us is there was a leading investment firm who did a survey that basically came out that said a 2% increase in upsell leads to a 28% increase in valuation. So that's why upsell and expansion of accounts at Bitly is so important for us. And this is Chauncey, our mascot. Cool. Well, yes. Oh no, I can't do questions. I'm getting yelled at. But here, y'all, here's my email address. So it's just Whitney@Bitly. So I'll talk to people after too, but if people have questions, feel free to email me as well.